episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse and DPayne.
Uh, Zvarvo, which that came out way better than last week's. That's hello in Serbian. Zdravo.
Yep. So, if it's your first time tuning in, we're two streamers who like to talk on various topics, listing out our top tiers and our bottom tiers. Usually, we have our communities over at twitter.com/pointlessdisco. Vote on what we speak on, but since there are sporting events,
What's a sport?
Sprots, we thought we would talk about something that we know about Sprots, which is Super Bowl commercials.
I googled what is sport, and then it gave me dictionary.com.
Boring.
Noun, an athletic activity requiring skill or physical prowess, and often of a competitive nature, as racing, baseball, tennis, golf, bowling, wrestling, hunting, fishing. Hold up. There's not even big game listed here.
Yeah, because the big game basically only big here.
They don't have soccer.
They didn't even write football?
No.
Football.
Yeah, they even put football. For people who don't know, we're talking about the Super Bowl commercials. I was reading
I
this.
said it. So
I'm sorry.
So welcome to the one track minds. There's two one track minds. We're on different tracks though.
And then there's a particular form of this, especially in the out of doors. That's another description of sport.
But what about okay.
No, especially in that out of doors. That's what it says.
Thank you, dictionary.com, for nullifying a lot of sports.
Exactly. They're not real.
Are you outside? It's not a sport. Oh my gosh. They're gatekeeping sports.
Oh, hold on. There's a better one. It's called the verb version of this. And it's like to play, frolic, or gambol as a child or an animal. What does gambol mean? That's Gambol. Hold on. To skip about, as in dancing or playing, comma with a dot. I forget what that's called.
Semicolon?
Sure. And frolic. Dude, dictionary.com. Why do people do... What's that game on the Wikipedias where they type in one thing and try to get to the other thing as fast as possible?
It's kind of like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but it's how many times before you get to... I want to say Kevin Bacon again, but it's not Kevin Bacon. It's a political figure, and I can't remember which one.
Oh, I never done it with a political figure. We've always been like, get from like cheeseburgers to Michael Jordan.
Oh, you guys made up your own goals. Okay.
Yeah. But that's only how I ever saw it played. Okay, Audacity. I don't know. I don't get stressed out, but looking at you bothers me.
Okay, all the moving waves.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah.
But yes, so this week, Super Bowl commercials, since that big old sporting event is happening soon. And I can confidently say that I've watched the sport maybe 4 or 5 times. I have played the sport, though. I have played American football before.
Oh.
It was flag football for fundraising for my high school. And I was bad at it because we didn't really practice, but that's fine.
I played flag football when I was in college, and there was definitely people who were like pretty much wanted to play tackle, but because of like, I don't know, whatever reasons we couldn't. But like, so they had like the way our campus was split up is that we had like one section of the dorms, another section, and another section, and then the staff team. And then it really felt like the staff was like all the like maintenance people that are just like, I'm here to get out all the stress that some of these students have given me.
I had to change the toilet rolls this many times this week. That's how many times I'm going for it.
Yeah, and so, but like, it was definitely one of those things where, it is actually where the origin of my nickname DPayne started. So yeah, when I went in college, like, they went and said my name, and like, it was really funny because like, I barely used my social media, Facebook, at all. And so they tried to find me on Facebook because they wanted me to. My roommates wanted to help have me bring up a microwave, and they're like, they came and was like, "Do you even have a Facebook?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's right here." And they're like, "Oh man, we couldn't even find you, and we were trying to figure out who the heck you were, and who doesn't have a Facebook." And I'm like, "Man, that question, who the heck are you? Did they ever know that that was going to be used for the rest of my internet career?" But um but yeah, so they were doing that, but then so they were like, "Man, Payne's a good last name for people to know. Payne's my actual last name." Um and they're like, so they were like, "Oh man, let's call you DPayne." I'm like, "Sure, whatever." Well, we got to flag football time, and well, I couldn't catch the ball really well, and I wasn't fast, and I couldn't really throw. But the rest of my dorm was playing, and so they're like, "Okay, yeah, you just stand on the line and block." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I did that, and apparently I was halfway decent at it, to the point where some kid decided to try to run through me, and I literally was not paying attention. I was looking at somewhere else. He ran into me and fell over, and I just like looked over, and I'm like, "What happened?" And all my roommates were like, "Yeah!" And just like, "D-Payne!" And then it was like from that point on, the whole campus only called me D-Payne, because some kid, instead of just running around me,
Try to run
decided
through
to run
you.
through me, and it didn't work. And I was like, "Oh," and then I was like, just me, I'm like, "Oh." And like the play's still going on, I tried to help him up. And I'm just like, "Here you
Aw.
go." I'm like, "Here you go, buddy." Just like, get on up here.
Not the competitive sportsman as the dictionary.com tells you it must
Oh yeah,
be.
no, I'm definitely like, when it comes to sports, like outdoor physical thing, except for ultimate frisbee. Ultimate frisbee, all the competitiveness comes out because I know what I'm doing in there.
Okay.
But yeah. And then like the second year, like we had a whole bunch of people that were just super competitive and just were like, "We want to win," blah blah. And I'm like, "This is not why I played last year. Have fun." And like everyone was like, "Why don't you come play?" And I was like, "It isn't fun. I'm not here to just get annoyed by people being turds." And then that's when the conversation ended. I'd sat in my dorm and played Fallout.
Yeah, it sounds like a reasonable solution.
Yeah, except my computer deleted my Fallout save, and then I had to find something else to do.
Oh no. Worst timeline.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know. I found out where the pizza shop was, so that was the next. It all worked out.
If not Fallout, pizza.
Yeah. That's why I got fat.
Oh no, you could have been competitive and out of the doors, or gambled, but instead.
What the heck happened downstairs?
I didn't hear anything come through the mic.
Oh my goodness, I felt it. There's a few times where it sounds like they're drilling stuff into the wall right underneath me.
Are these the people that just moved in?
They've been here for a little while.
Okay.
I'm really glad you didn't hear it, because I did, and it was loud and worrisome. How come that didn't send through? But stinking children outside being kids can be picked up. Sounds are weird. Anyway, Super Bowl. um, hey guys, forewarning, we're both tired brains this time. Me is just normal, so you're not gonna see much of a change. But Hop's been a busy bunny. I would say busy bee, but who wants to hang out with bees? They got needles for butts.
Yeah, I've got 3 whole bunnies. If I'm the busiest bunny of them all.
When you say 3 whole bunnies, my brain's like, wait, does she have half bunny?
The one is basically half a bunny. He's only 2.5 pounds, so
I've been
small.
thinking about getting a guinea pig because I thought that would be funny.
They're very noisy, so if you don't want sounds while you're recording your podcast,
Yeah, probably not. It's like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I'm not getting a pet or even thinking about getting a pet until I have my own place. But which is really funny because one of the places I was looking to move to, they really wanted to sell it, but they couldn't. And I just was looking at the market for something else. One of the houses I was like, "Oh man, it's a brick house. I love brick houses." It's like, it's $500,000. I'm like, they can keep their dumb
a
brick
half
house.
million.
Yeah, and I was like, you can keep your dumb brick house. So, um, ooh, that was the long team saying hello. Um, but one of the houses I was looking at was like, oh my goodness, I love this house, and people were trying to buy it. It turns out it's still in the market.
Yeah, $500,000 is kind of a lot for right
Oh
now.
no, this is a different house.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I knew the one house I was looking at was still in the market is because this other one was gone, and so like maybe this time by next year I will have enough money to possibly get the loan. Maybe. I don't know.
You did start, you said, a second job, right?
Yeah.
Also a busy bee.
Yeah, I don't get paid a lot by that, but it's definitely something where if it's not at this place, it's still a field that I want to be my full-time job.
So it's at least a stepping stone then.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone, except for when you tell your parent right in front of him that you got a job doing this part-time and it's where you actually want to get your go and work in the field, when he has been the owner and your boss for 14 years of your life and has slowly been like, I want you to take over the company, and now I'm not.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's just say I'm not the favorite son ever. But to complete the circle of stories is like, I did tell him at one point, like in recency, like within the past like 3 or 4 years, I'm like, hey, I think I would like to take over for you guys. What would I have to do or learn? And getting any information was like pulling teeth out. And I'm like, guy, you've been saying this for years, how you wanted this to happen, and now I'm saying that I'm interested, and you are sounding, your whole attitude and position is like, this is the worst possible thing that could happen. So I'm like,
mixed signals.
So, and now he's like, why he no longer interested? And I was like, well, I don't know. Why don't you go check what you did like 2 years ago?
Spicy.
Therapy. No.
Spicy. Okay, but
Yep. Super Bowl.
Sports commercials that aren't even about sports.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they also involve sports. So I had to get, I'll just go ahead and say, I had to get a bit of a refresher. And while I was working, I looked through YouTube for suggestions of best and worst Super Bowl commercials, and I was like, these lists are okay. I found a couple that I remember really liking, and I found a couple that I was like, I don't really like this one.
There was a few, like, right away, I'm like, I remember not liking any of the iterations of these commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a few. There was one that I was looking up, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was an actual Super Bowl commercial, and I like the whole timeline that came out of this one. So, spoiler, that one's my number one.
Whoa. It must have a continuous story, or it's not good enough for you.
It's not that it's a continuous story, it's just like the theme that was set up, they continued with the theme.
I got you.
With other commercials. However, one of the things on here, I'll say right now, it's on my bad list, but this commercial came out before I could remember sports or possibly even born, but it is so like, how did that get approved that it made it on my list? I have runner-ups for both, by the way.
I don't have any runner-ups. I didn't pick anything that was like blatantly, like, I would think would just be under like controversial. I just wanted to pick things that I was like, me as a viewer, I can see why people like this, but I just...
No, it's not that it's like... So the one that's on here is not like... I don't think it's controversial. It's just more like... I think it's more of a sign of the times. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, I could see how it could be funny, but in 2021... Man, why did 2020 have to be such like a weird year and no one wants to talk about? Because man, 2020 just rolls off the tongue so easy. Anyway,
you have to think about 21.
Yeah, but it was definitely one of those commercials that I'm like, man, if people showed that today, people would have been having issues.
Okay, that's fair. But before we go ahead and start jumping into figuring out who gets to talk first by rolling our dice, do we have any announcements?
Oh wait, yeah, people did comment on the one of the tweets I did on the
The
pod
Twitters.
Twitters. Yes, because I asked the question where it was just like, hey, what are your most memorable Super Bowl commercials? And then I went on my own personal account and pretty much just was saying like, I'll start it off like, yeah, maybe people don't follow twitter.com/pointlessdisco and they might not see it, and so I was like, hey, I'll get the conversation rolling. And then I had people that commented on it, such as Sir Edmund saying Budweiser horses, the Clydesdales.
I remember them.
Yeah, I didn't say bad or good Super Bowl commercials. I just said most memorable. Yeah, which yeah, I remember them. They have their own. There's like their own storylines as well. Uh, where there was a very much a DPayne response to that as majestic horses with their natural bell bottoms. um, and then another person is Lady Lake. Um, who she was telling me that apparently this year some of the major brands won't be doing commercials, but will instead be donating money. I don't know where they're donating money, and I didn't really look this up at all. I just took it at face value. I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty interesting to see because a lot of those Super Bowl ads, from what I'm understanding, it's like millions of dollars that they can spend to get the most prime time in it.
mm,
So it would
yeah,
be cool to see them take, some of that money. I'm sure not all of what they would spend on a commercial, but take some of it and try to help out.
yeah. So it's the other thing that like I've just been noticing over the past like couple years. Oh, Fallout 3 is on sale. Anyway.
That's an interesting thing to have noticed over the years.
Oh, I went back. I went back to my personal Twitter, and that's what showed up, and I love Fallout 3. So hey guys, if you want Fallout 3 for about $3, go to Humble Bundle. Not an ad. It's just it was right there, and welcome to the brain of DPayne. Um, but yeah, it was definitely one of those. Shoot, what was I saying?
Today's the day, huh?
Mm-hmm. And I actually semi-fixed my sleep schedule. Dude, I got sick because I couldn't sleep, but I still went to work because I need money. I knew it wasn't COVID or like anything else. I'm like, this is literally just caused because I haven't been able to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Before Fallout, don't even. Oh yeah. So I noticed that like there's been companies that have been showing their Super Bowl commercials before the actual Super Bowl. And so like the week or two beforehand, and it's just like I don't know. I remember a time when it's just like Super Bowl commercials were really cool to look at,
Mm-hmm.
and they were really neat and funny and hilarious, and um it got to the point where you're looking forward to them. But then I remember when it's just like, oh man, these weren't the Super Bowl commercials that were good. They were still good, but like we're saving the real good ones for the Super Bowl, and then they never came out. It was the same one. I'm like, well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, a lot of companies do have, like, I did kind of put this one on my list, so I won't mention it too much, but a lot of companies, they really do come out with like 5 to 10 commercials, it feels like, and any that they decided don't get air, don't get the pay time, they're just like, all right, it goes on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. There's that, and then there's other, especially the last like 2 years. Like it feels weird, like knowing how Super Bowl commercials is like. Um, I don't know. It's like it's just supposed to be funny, and it's like part of me wonders, did all the funny people get fired because it's like I think it was. Did I watch the Super Bowl last year? I don't remember. I don't know. Whatever. The last like couple of Super Bowls that I remember watching, and I only watch for the commercials, and then I sit there in the room and make fun of the people that are really invested and tell
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it was like, "Can you leave?" And I'm like, "You're over my house." Like or my parents' house when I lived there. And yeah, so anyhow, like it was like there's been a lot of like, man, here's a we're not doing funny. This is just like here's a troubled story, and it's just like the life has been real tough. Yep, real bad. Here's a dog. Yeah, that's a good dog. Here's some kids. You can see them as I go and tell you something. Yep, life's been tough these past few years. Blah, 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 grumble, grumble, grumble. Here's a truck. And it's like, wait, what?
There was one that came up on one compilation list, and they were like, this one was bad because it was sad. And then I listened to it, and I was like, this is very sad. I'll maybe I'll mention it in the runner-up, since you said you have a runner-up, and I don't really have.
Yeah, I wonder if it's one of the ones I saw. There's been a few like where they were just like, this is a bad one, and it's just like, oh wait, is it an insurance one?
Yeah.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that one should be brought up as a bad one. I didn't write it down, but we can make mention of it.
I'll be interested to see if we have two different insurance ones, because insurance companies can take their ads in very interesting directions.
So I wanna give, at least for this one, mainly because this happened I think last week with our runner-ups, where some of the runner-ups were some of the options. And maybe we do this and I'm just getting confused in my aging years. That we just share our runner-ups like after we finish the tier.
Okay, yeah, we'll save it. I know we did that last one because we weren't sure time-wise where we were gonna end up.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the reason why, but it's just like, you know what? It might be good just to save the runner-ups as just a quick closer to that section, and then so that way if like it is on like one of our lists,
we don't accidentally
yeah, I'm trying to think, like in the past like what 35 episodes, what episode are we on? Oh, we're on 40. This is episode 41.
Almost a year, baby.
In the 41 episodes, I think we've only had one episode where like your number, like one of your goods was on my bad or something like that,
yes.
Or it was the other way around. Like, I don't know. That's crazy.
We've had statistically so far, we're more likely to agree on our least favorite than we are to have opposing thoughts.
Yeah.
Thanks to, was it Gushers? And there was one other one where we both said we hated it.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember now. Hey, any of you guys that are going through the backlog, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We remember Gushers because that was the first one where we were both like, yeah, there's no way the other person is even going to mention this but it's still trash. And we're like, oh.
All right, let's tag team talk about melty, squishy, uncomfortable feeling in the mouth, all stuck together.
Oh man, you know what though? I would totally take a Gushers like sponsorship, just because man, it's just like we know what you said, but here, and I'm like, I'm just
that was
this
a mistake.
Funny. It would still be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but you know, it would be a real good sponsorship opportunity. Wawa.
Wawa would be great for anyone who does not live in a region that has a Wawa. Move to one.
Let's see. Okay, good. We got 30 seconds to Wawa. Hit the Wawa quota, even though we haven't. Oh no, guys! I'm just making a goof off of a non-recorded conversation that Hop and I both had.
I mean, we've also talked about it a lot in the podcast about if we a dream sponsor.
Heck, I'll just take a sweatshirt. Like,
I'll take a one free hoagie during Hoagie Fest.
That yeah.
Yeah. Like that's not a lot, but it's like enough.
Mm-hmm. You know what though? Like, I was thinking about this. Wow, I made mention I could hear myself through your headphones. I mean, man, I could really hear myself through your headphones right now.
Oh, is it particularly bad?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I'm hearing myself every once in a while. Like I don't know what happened differently. I didn't touch any of my settings.
Yeah, I don't seem to echo through while I'm looking at the OBS stuff. So
okay.
I don't know if Audacity or no, we both close Audacity because it looks too weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just when I get a little bit louder. I don't know. This is one of the things I just noticed a few times. Like, yeah, that's weird. But yeah, one of the things that I like, as Hop knows, I think very big picture, and sometimes big picture thoughts come into my head with actually no grounding. But man, there's a part of me that's like, man, it'd be really cool if this podcast got like to a decent size, and then we were able to guest on Preston and Steve. I
I,
don't think it'd be weird. It'd be weird, but I'm like,
to
man.
me it feels like one of those like don't meet your heroes kids moments.
Oh, they're definitely not my heroes, but I
No,
just
but
think
it's
it'd be
I wouldn't say
cool.
like heroes, but it's still like I essentially grew up with them, and to
Oh
like
yeah,
be in a studio with them, it would be like whether or not they're like my heroes, it would still be weird. It's like
yeah. That's like,
it's like being interviewed for like a news thing when you're in school. You're like, oh,
yeah.
say hi to Channel 4 News. Hi.
I, yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, man, I think it'd be funny.
But did this come about because we were looking at like weird lists for stuff to come up with ideas for other holidays?
It's that, and but also this whole week, or the past 2 weeks, I've been too lazy to turn my phone on for music, and so Preston and Steve was just playing as I was driving into work, and so like I've been listening to more of them than I normally have, and I'm like, you know what? Hop and I could do this.
I honestly don't think I've listened to them in. My car radio's been broken for a very long time. Let's put it that way. It broke back in college.
I hate this music.
I know one time somebody hit the button without thinking, and I think it's a wiring thing because it makes like a loud pop noise, and then but someone accidentally turned it on without thinking about it, and it worked, and I was just like, turn it off. They're like, what? It's working. Like, turn it off. Turn it off.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a no
sorry.
good, very bad time.
I'm getting distracted by the drilling below.
I don't hear anything coming through.
Yeah, but I can. But yeah, nah, it's definitely one of those things. Like,
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't live in an area with what WMMR is the channel name.
yeah, I've said where I live before in the Philadelphia area.
Well, I just mean like I don't know if
Actually,
iHeartRadio
yeah,
offers it
yeah,
on.
they do. They
Yeah,
have a podcast. Yeah.
but yeah, so they're basically radio newscasters for classic rock station. But yeah, it's from Philly, but I know if they're owned by iHeartRadio, can't you technically listen to them via their web app from anywhere now?
Are they owned by? I don't know. I hear it all the time now. The Beasley Music. I don't know. What are they?
Maybe
owned
they're
by,
a different group then. Maybe I'm thinking of what?
well, they did. They did get. They did get bought by somebody else. Like
Okay.
the thing, but they're still in the same area.
Gotcha. Yeah, because
So.
I know, what is it? I know 104.5 and 102.1 are supposed to be local, but they're owned by iHeartRadio. So, like, once iHeartRadio was putting out that they had their own music app equivalent to, like, Spotify, they were like, listen to us from anywhere. I'm like, why would I? I can just
Yeah.
download my songs on Spotify.
And then there's 94.1, which was a classic rock station. It was a talk radio station, and then it became a classic rock station, and then became a talk radio station, and now they're a sports radio station.
What?
And you know what? Sports talk is what we're doing today.
Kinda.
Oh yeah, dab.
All right. So are you ready to roll then to see the order we get to talk in now that
Yeah.
we've ranted at the good people for a little bit now? Look at all
Well, that was a good 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was a solid 30 minutes. All right, let me roll the dice. So for anyone not familiar with the system that we do or just needs a little bit of a reminder, DPayne and I play a lot of role-playing games, and a lot of those you roll 20-sided dice, and usually the higher the number the better, but of course there's different systems. What we're doing, the higher roll gets to go first, and depending if the loser is even or odd, even, we talk about the things we like first, odd, we talk about the things we dislike first.
By the way, anyone, if this is your first episode listening to and you made it this far, oh, thank you.
We are, like I said, we're
Eccentric.
what did I say earlier? Oh, we're both one-track minds, but very different tracks right now. We converge from time to time.
Yeah, but normally you're way better at keeping us on topic.
Yeah, I've been using all my brain cells lately, so.
I had to look up eccentric to make sure it meant what I thought it meant.
Is it what you
cool.
wanted?
Deviating from conventional or accepted usage of conduct, especially in odd or whimsical ways.
Whimsical. My business card, I wrote whimsy because I couldn't think of a third word to put on the back. Gotta make myself new business cards.
Whenever I think of whimsy or whimsical, I immediately imagine like fantasy hair floating all around, like a Studio Ghibli movie.
Oh, I think Alice in Wonderland.
That, yeah, that works. What you roll?
Oh, okay. I didn't know you rolled your dice yet. Usually I
Oh
hear
yeah.
a kathunk.
Oh, here I can make a better kathunk. Oh, that was a bet. Oh, I lost the die. Oh, I re-rolled. I don't like this number.
You don't have to take the new one. You can take the old one.
Well, they're both bad
Oh.
numbers.
All right. I rolled a 9.
Oh my good. Okay, no lie. My first roll was a 9.
So what do we do in tiebreakers?
Re-roll?
Okay, I didn't know if we had another system because has it happened before?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I think we no. Okay, so we have tied before, but that's when we had a guest on.
Okay, and it did.
We never tied when it was just the two of us.
Oh yeah, and we had to do a roll off. Was that with System Chalk?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I will roll another d20. Virtually, I don't have any dice with me right now. And go.
I'll just keep the same thing that I
rolled a
before.
9.
Well, I rolled a 4.
Okay. So then I will be talking first, and will we go first?
Oh my goodness, you still won. I was like, you know what? I should actually re-roll just to be safe. I rolled a 2.
Both even though. So do we go
Yes.
the even because that was your losing dice technically?
That is a good question. Do we go with the original thing? Because I don't know. Part of me wants to talk about the bad to get it out of the way, so we don't have to look at the bad.
Okay, we'll just talk about the bad because you know what? We broke the rules by getting a tie in our dice, so rules don't apply anymore.
We also broke the rules by talking for 30 minutes about everything but sports.
You keep saying sports. We can't fool the people. This is not about sports.
We're sports now, everyone.
We're Sportscast. Oh boy.
We hung out with Sportsman Blackjack 21, and now we're sports.
He is more sports than us.
We're sports.
He's very sports. Yeah.
Prepare yourself for talking about blitzball.
Well, I watch Haikyuu, so I understand some concepts of volleyball.
I read it. Actually, like a lot of anime and manga stuff in excuse me, in that context, they have to go and study that sport a whole lot. So even though not everything will be 100% what that sport is, they still do share a lot of the rules and tactics that have to be used.
And then
so
they
it's
do
a legitimate way.
Yeah, and they do a lot where, at least Haikyuu, I like how they set it up where they don't have it where you have to sit and just like learn about it with the characters. Or well, yeah, instead they have side characters that as cool things happen, then somebody explains it to someone who plays the basic viewer who doesn't understand what happened. But it's still, I think it's a nice balance because then if a viewer knows about volleyball and is relating to volleyball, then they can just enjoy the cool play, and then not have to sit there and be like, yeah, I know what a toss is.
Yeah. One of the things I do like about Haikyuu's manga is that there's certain I don't know how this translates over to the anime, because like in the manga, it's like when these certain scenes happen, it's like a whole new art style takes on.
Oh, they do that in the anime.
But like it's a very specific thing that I really, really like. It's the main character dude. I forgot his name.
Hinata.
When he kind of goes into like ultra instinct mode, for lack of a better term, and he's just like everything slows down. But like when he does in the show, it's really interesting because it does it. Sorry, in the manga, there's a few different things where it's just like everyone's sitting there like, okay, let's go. And they're waiting for Hinata to make like his normal like noise thing. And they're like, what's going on? And they just look over and he's just like psycho staring down the other team.
Oh yeah. I think they do a good job with that in the anime because they do convey that emotion very well. And then they also convey the other form of his ultra instinct where, like, I know for anyone who isn't familiar with the series, there's a lot of character growth. But to sum it up very well is Hinata has a thing where he used to close his eyes and just hit the ball and trust that the ball would be there, which in
Hmm.
normal volleyball you can't do that. But like in the show, they're extremely good. There's different people extremely good at different parts of volleyball, so they pull it off. But in the later episodes, he starts being able to open his eyes and pay attention and like figure it out. There's a
Hmm.
lot of growth in between there and there. And
Yeah.
in the anime, they do a very interesting job if it's very zoomed in on his eyes and zoomed in on him, like him tracking the volleyball to really emphasize like laser focus.
Yeah. Oh man. There's. I still remember. There are certain scenes where I remember just sitting there looking at it, and it's just like it's like a wide angle lens
Mm-hmm.
that they kind of put on it, where it's this like it bubbles and looks weird, and it takes on like almost like a berserk-esque art style where everything gets super detailed, and it's just like you can feel the intensity, and you're just like, oh, something cool's gonna happen.
Yeah, I started Haikyuu because my friends were like, we want to know which character is going to be your favorite out of the boys because there's so many boys. And then it's gotten to the point now where I understand the volleyball terms. And while I was watching it with Starter last night, I was like, the babies, they've grown up. Look at them, they're doing the things. Like I was understanding what was happening and I was excited for them. I was like, no one warned me about this from the beginning. Like I thought I was just
This
gonna
is.
passively enjoy this.
Hmm. Yeah, I think another like that's the thing. I really enjoy sports mangas because even though a lot of them are essentially the same setup, where you have new student come into a school that's either been struggling or like had a tough go, and normally is just trash at everything but one thing, and then but that one thing is just what kind of pulls and motivates everyone together. Hayaku. Wow, I totally butchered the name. Volleyball one. It's a little bit different because there's a few. The setup is a little bit different, but it's still kind of the same concept where it's a few freshmen that come in that are actually really good at very specific things.
Mm-hmm.
That which in volleyball that really helps, like at least to get things
Because it's the
going.
team sport, yeah.
Yeah. But like I Shield 21 is at least the manga was really cool. In my personal opinion, the ending was a little bit rushed, but it's like it was a Japanese take on American football, and this wasn't a plug to get us back into talking about the Super Bowl. It's just like I really like it because like this kid was like he was bullied his whole like school career, and then this one dude's just like, you run really fast, you're playing football now. And he's like, what? And he's like, yep, come on over. And then the bullies are like, no, you're here. And then the football team's like, you're playing football too, get in here. And they're like, wait, what? And like it's really cool because normally in a lot of animes and stuff, especially Sojin, where it's just like um the bullies is the first mile marker of character growth for the main character to get past. In this one, it's like, no, the bullies just become part of the main story and are forced, like, they're forced to play football to the point where people start antagonizing them and are like, we're going to prove why we're so, like, why we should be here. And then, I don't know, it was like the whole setup was pretty cool. But then there's just a few of them that like Slam Dunk is another one that I really liked reading because like this guy just joins basketball to hit on a girl and then actually turns out like he's never played basketball in his whole life and turns out he's actually really really good at it.
Mm.
It's just and he just never played it before and like he is able to jump like pretty much from the foul line, which for people who I only know this because I read it. But the foul line is it's like the line inside the big dome line that people have to shoot in when they get fouled or something like that. Which I don't know. I think they said it's like 20 feet away from the basketball court, and he's able to like jump from there and dunk. So he has like
Jeez.
big jumps,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like how he's able to start playing. Like he like in the first episode, like he pretty much is facing this one dude, and then he's just like, I don't know how to play, and just jumps over him, just dunks it. And he's
Just
just
one
like,
solution to a problem.
yeah. Um, So yeah, there's a lot of sports ones. Soccer ones I think are my favorite though.
Okay.
There's one I'm reading now where it's just like they have their own version of Ultra Instinct, and it's just like this looks really cool. Like I'm like, man, I want to see this animated. Like their eyes turn into fire, and it's like, whoa. I don't know. Any anyway.
It's okay. I
Yeah.
don't have a lot to say about my commercials, but
Me neither, but
we're
yeah.
still on sports though. We at least we wandered.
Yeah, we stayed in sports.
So we stayed in sports. Okay, so I'll go ahead and kick off with. So we want to do our
another sports term.
So you wanted to do the bad ones, so they're just out of the way. We don't have to think.
Yeah,
about
because we both rolled the odd number. The guys, that is now the rule. For anyone
even if we
wondering.
tie,
Even if we tie, we will take that because it was convenient this one time. It is now a rule for the
It'll
rest.
be inconvenient next time.
It will be inconvenient in the future, but that's a future Hop and Payne problem.
All right, so then for my runner-up for the one I don't like, it was the E-Trade series of commercials, if you remember those.
I remember the Talking Baby one.
Yeah, that's the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because for me, I don't know what it is, but I think I just really dislike when they
babies.
I think I dislike when people can take things that are not funny and then put it on a baby and then it's supposedly funny. Because like I remember I was re-listening to some of the E-Trade ones, and there was one where the baby was like video chatting with another baby, and then towards the end the girl baby accuses him of hanging out with the milkaholic and puts her name in, and then the girl pops her head out like, who you calling a milkaholic? I'm like, that's not funny. But because it's babies addicted to milk, it's funny. But adults with substance help that need substance help, that's not funny.
Yeah, it's well, that whole thing spawned its own TV show.
I must have erased that from my memory.
It wasn't a good TV show. Like the first episode was kind of funny, but it was like, okay. The whole gimmick was baby can talk, but only like certain people in the family knew that the baby could talk.
Oh, Disney does this all the time, like with animals though, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because
I
think
watch a lot of Disney.
Or maybe it was Nickelodeon. I just remember passing through while my nieces and nephews were watching something, and there was like a talking rabbit, and then the whole plot line was like, oh no, nobody else is allowed to know that this rabbit can talk. I was like, why does it matter? And then I walked away.
See, but that could have been you if you went down the VTuber.
I could have been the talking rabbit.
You could have been a bunny girl. Oh, that sounds weird.
We say a lot of things and go, should I have said it? But yeah, no.
It's out there now.
Yeah, but no, it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like I can see where the first time they did the commercial, everyone was like, oh, that's eye-catching, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like when you let people just keep writing them, they start to get into things where you're like, I guess it's funny, but it's only funny because they're babies. And I don't think that makes it funny. If you can't take the joke and put it in another context, then is it really a good joke?
Yeah.
Did you like the E-Trade babies?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like I thought it was dumb. Like I remember the first commercial. Like it was one of those things where I'm like, haha, baby talk, and then I was like, I was done with it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, the extent of it, because there are so many more very creative Super Bowl commercials, and then this one is just baby talking about stocks. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then it's just like, yeah, like compared to like a bunch of other like commercials that are good, it's like, you know what though, if Talking Baby commercial came out now, it would definitely be memorable because in personal opinion, a lot of Super Bowl commercials aren't that great anymore.
I don't think I've watched a Super Bowl commercial from anything after like 2015.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Like for lack of a better term, the social justice warriors have come in and made a lot of things very either political or social justice-y in a way where it's like, okay, I don't know who thought this was funny, but it really is. Okay.
Or like
Like,
you're saying, like the commercials feel like
yeah,
they're not allowed to be funny anymore.
like some of them are like that's when I don't remember. I don't remember if I'll find out later in the recording
Okay,
when
because
I go to
I
edit
was just
this.
confused by the statement. I was like, you can have comedy and not
Yes,
touch
but
on the
yeah,
topics. I was like,
yes,
wait.
but they didn't. Like it's very much like I think I was saying like an example of it, and I can't remember if if this was recorded already. Like oh well, you guys are gonna hear it again, where it's just like it's just it's like social justice thing where it's just like yep, 2020's been tough. Like
Oh,
I
that, yeah.
guarantee there's going to be a commercial in the Super Bowl where it's going to be like 20. There's going to be like gruff cowboy voice. 2020 was tough. A lot of people were stuck at home. A lot of things. Throw up Trump saying something like "We're civil unrest," and then it will end with like "What new leadership?" and Biden's going to show up, say something, and then it's going to be like "What things are different." Oh, that's bad. I totally forgot the vice president's name. Kamala will say something. I'm like, oh. But there's like, yep, times are tough. Yep, well, Budweiser. And I was like, what?
All right, I thought you were saying something completely different, but I can see where a lot of commercials are going to try and touch on the emotional thing.
Yeah,
I
like
thought
a
you were
lot of
saying that like I mean like I see this argument on the internet where people are like, "Wow, things aren't allowed to be funny anymore cuz people take offense to everything." It's like, "No, your humor is just centered in being offensive."
oh no,
Yeah.
that's not what I was talking about. It
Okay.
was more like the commercial, like they're not trying to be funny, and it's like it will follow like a, like an objectively funny commercial, like where it's just like I don't want to give spoilers for probably things that might be on my other list, but it's like, oh man, that was a pretty good commercial, and then it's like 2020, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go get a burger. So, but yeah, I don't know. I also watch the Super Bowl very differently, where everyone walks up to get food during the commercials. I get food while
While
balls
games
being
being
thrown.
played, yeah.
I'm like, however, the one fact I did find really funny is where the sewage company for America or whatever it was, they're like, hey, America, can you guys like go to the bathroom during different sections because of the Super Bowl? Because you all go at halftime and it just destroys all water pressure because you all are going to the bathroom
At
at
the
the
same
same
exact
time.
time. That's funny.
And so I remember that was something that came out a couple years ago. But anyhow, yeah, sorry. E-Trade babies.
Yeah. So what's your
Oh, that
sec
was all about the E-Trade
I said
babies.
I don't have a lot to say. I
Oh,
said
sorry. No, I didn't want to cut you off. I didn't know if there was any other E-Trade thing. Like I'm trying to remember. I don't
there are
know.
a handful. The I think was the first one the one where he's like getting fitted for a suit, and then like I said, there was the one where he was like on a video call with another baby.
I remember the video call one, and that's pretty much all I remember.
Yeah, but no, I mean, so what's your? I was about to ask you what your second one was, and then you interrupted me moving it along instead of interrupting me talking about babies.
Sorry, guys. This is the last podcast. She's yelling at me. Okay, so this is the one I was saying earlier. I had a real tough time because I'm like, I didn't want to go into and just be like the pretty much the example of commercial I just said because I'm like, that's not fun to talk about. So I did the fun Google search, best Super Bowl or worst Super Bowl ads of all time. And man, I forgot the Super Bowl's been going on for a while.
We're on
So,
what? Are we on 60 yet?
we're on one of them. So, um, I found one that was made before I was alive, and I could see in the time period how this could get a chuckle. But now in 2020, like I'm pretty sure someone would have an issue with it. But also, it's not funny at all. So it's for a site called Outpost.com. I don't even know what is this site even exist. Hold on, I should.
Now
have
you're
done
curious.
Outpost.com. No. Oh, they rebranded to Fries.com, which looks like a knockoff Amazon. So if you don't want to give Bezos your money, here you go. You can go here. Anyway, at least that's where the site forwards to.
Okay.
So the title of this commercial is called Gerbil Cannon.
Hmm?
So, Hop, I want to ask you, in the year of 19, I think it was like 85 when this commercial came out. I think the internet existed. Was it? No, it was 94. Maybe it was 95. Anyway, 80, 90s, around-ish that time. What do you think gerbil cannon means?
Well, like my initial instinct, which I don't love, is you know how you get on an airplane and sometimes they have those magazines and they have random gimmicky things you could technically buy.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I always manage to find the marshmallow guns where you shoot marshmallows through a little plastic gun.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me it's not that.
It's not a marshmallow gun.
But is it an equivalent but gerbils?
Maybe.
I hate it.
Yeah. It's pretty much this guy sitting in a chair just like, yep. I don't even know what he said. It's just like also was like, that's almost as absurd as a gerbil cannon. And it's like it cuts to a literal Civil War cannon that they're loading a gerbil in the back and they're like, fire, pull a stick, and it fires the gerbil out. And they're trying to get it in this little hole in the wall. And it's just like just it yeah, you can't really tell what they're shooting. You know it's not a gerbil, but it's implied that it's
It's
a
an
gerbil.
implied gerbil.
Yeah, and it's just like object shoots out a cannon to a wall and it's like and falls off. And it's just like I'm like, guy, what? Like, what? This isn't even like I could see probably surprise factor get chuckle back in the day, but it's like, man, this did not age well.
What is what was it advertising?
I don't know. It didn't have anything to do with the company. I don't even out whatever the site was called, outpost.com. I don't even know what it is. Doesn't exist anymore. I just googled it. I part of me wonders if outpost.com was like I don't know, like an outlet store but online. But it's just
Like initial the when you said the name Outpost, I was thinking maybe it's like like a FedEx competitor or something like
yeah, it
that.
could be. Like I whatever it is, like the site doesn't
It doesn't
work.
tell you anything.
It forwards you to a different site.
Yeah.
So that's why it made me wonder if it got bought out or something.
Man, they
But
put
it's
all that money behind a commercial and look at him now.
yeah, it's just like, and the thing is, it's not just one shot.
I'm sure cuz that
It's it's like, and then they got a close up of them like holding the gerbil and putting it in the back,
No,
and it's
thank
just like I'm
you.
like, it's not bloody or gory. It's just like
The implications there.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then it's like the last one makes it through the little target, and then it cuts back to old man in chair like, oh
What?
yeah,
Like he'd never expected to get it in. He just wanted
I
to.
guess
He wanted gerbils to suffer. That was the goal.
I watched it once and I was like, this is bad.
This is just
Like
bad.
just on multiple levels. This is making my runner up. Like I I don't know. It was just like wow. And
Well, then that was
like
a commercial.
yeah, like look, I don't like rodents. I specifically also don't like them in my house. The ones that are for wild. I don't know. I guess a little bit different. You get them from the store. I also know I said, man, guinea pig would be funny to have, but I don't actually really want a guinea pig.
Also, if you're gonna get pets, guys, I'm gonna be oh my god, I don't remember his name anymore from The Price is Right. But adopt your pets and get them spayed and neutered. I know people get a lot of gerbils and rats from stores, but
Yep.
I am me. I can't in good conscience.
Wait, are you having baby bunnies over there?
No, I'm saying if you want to get a gerbil or a rat, do not go to PetSmart. Go to
Yeah. Like real story, like my brother, so his well, ex-wife, she she got a French bulldog from a pet store, and when they were married, he wanted. I don't think about it. I wonder where the heck that dog went. Anyway, she they went to a pet store and they saw a Pomeranian, and my brother like instantly fell in love with it. For further context, my mom's dog that she had was like a Pomeranian mix thing, and so my brother really liked it, and so she surprised him and bought the Pomeranian from the pet store,
Mm-hmm.
and brought it home as like, here's your early Christmas gift. Well, little did they know, they bought a defective Pomeranian because it caught like something at the pet store, and they didn't tell anybody. And so when they were there, like they had the dog, and to the point where like they had to get rid of one of its lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And like the dog is like a small dog, and so they're like, I don't know, it's one of those things like, it's not hurt, it's not in pain. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't think I would want to live with one lung. But it's just like, I also, well, I don't know the status of that dog anymore, but it's just like you can tell, like once he gets worked up, it has trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but it's one of those things from the pet store. It's just like, fortunately, like the other reason why they're, because they went to go return it, because they're like, you guys literally lied to us about the dog, and they wouldn't take it back for whatever reason, and then they went to go sue, and they did something, and the judge was like, or whatever the process happened is like, no, you guys did wrong, to the point where they gave all the money back for the Pomeranian, allowed them to keep it, and had to pay for the surgeries.
Yeah, I was gonna say the business practices are sound very
Dubious.
shady. Yeah.
Dubious at best.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah, but yeah, no. I mean,
no gerbil cannon.
yeah, no gerbil cannon, please. Please. I'm glad that I did not come across that while researching my commercials.
Yeah, guys, I'll admit, and I told Hop this earlier, I was way more focused on next week's topic, which, if anyone knows how my brain works, will probably understand why I had to spend an extra week in trying to figure out how this one's gonna work. But I
Well-
was way more focused on that one than this one.
Yeah, if you guys take a look at the calendar, I feel like you could guess maybe what the theme is, but I'm sure we'll announce it at the end of the episode. Stay tuned.
If you guys made it this far, thanks. But yeah, so what was your number one?
All right, so mine is kind of in the same vein where it's just like
Baby cannon.
I did see one that was questionable that involved, it was considered controversial for, it wasn't exactly a baby cannon, but I can touch on that in a little bit. But where it's like, I guess it was funny, but it's not funny anymore. I know when it comes to the Super Bowl, of course, a lot of the marketing is
Oh my goodness, the way you're gearing this up, I'm wondering if we wrote the same thing.
I know a lot of the marketing is biased towards gender because they assume some people are watching it, others aren't, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was just a very basic premise that I just thought was very dumb. And then I think whoever wrote it thought it was like hilarious. It starts out with a couple showing up to what looks like a formal dinner party where it's very quiet and snooty and like everyone's dressed very well. And this guy brings like this absurdly large hunk of cheese. And
as someone who talks about cheese a lot, I'm already intrigued. Go ahead.
just you wait. So it looks like a giant hunk of cheese, like unrealistic. It's like probably like a foot tall of cheese, and it's a whole cheese wheel. No one's eating that much cheese, right? So then he goes into the kitchen where apparently all the guys, all the husbands and boyfriends of the party all go to the kitchen and they all go, hey guys, it's cheese time. And someone else is like, yeah, I brought the charcuterie. And like they start opening their quote unquote things that they brought that are vessels that are just there to hold beer and a mini TV to watch sports.
Okay, we're no longer talking about the same thing. Go ahead.
But I was just like, is this funny? Is this interesting? Like, am I supposed to like care about this? Is this funny to guys?
No.
And then and then they go into the next part of the ad where I think the guy who brought the cheese brought beer in the cheese container. And then
It's a waste of cheese.
It wasn't cheese. It was plastic, but cheese. Cheese shaped roughly. But then at one point you see him like run off to the main room where all the women are like sipping wine and quietly chatting. And then he like runs past his I guess wife or girlfriend. They don't really establish that. And she's like, "Oh, where are you headed?" He's like, "Going on a cheese run." I'm like, I hate it.
Now, this is where DPayne's brain goes like, why don't you just be honest?
Yeah, like their women aren't so dense in their parties that they're not going to realize you guys are in the kitchen doing quote unquote considered manly things of the time.
Also, this reminded me of a TikTok I saw. But anyway,
Yeah, but
I can
like no one's
get
going to
that in a
be
sec.
mad that you say, "Oh, we're drinking beer in the kitchen while you gals hang out." Like, okay, fine. You don't
Yeah.
have to participate. Go ahead and get more beer.
And it's like one of those things I'm wondering because like I've seen so many like relationships uh fail because of lack of communication. It's just like y'all just shooting yourself in the foot. Just
Also, yeah.
relation advice from the single person. Just communicate with you others. Stop being idiots.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is like, is she so dense that she was like, "You're so kind for bringing the cheese wheel," and doesn't realize it looks like absurd and fake and might rattle and be cold to the touch because it's actually a cooler for beer. Like, there's so many questions I want answered, but at the same time, I'm like, no, this guy's a waste of space.
Yeah, he deserves to be dumped. Side note, this was not a very thought through plan. What if women's come in and be like, "Can I have cheese?"
Yeah,
Well,
and they're like,
what are
"Oh,
you gonna
sorry,
do?
the meat and cheese board is actually beer and a mini TV."
Too liquid? Et mon ami?
Like, just I understand the joke, but I don't know. Again, like it could be like you said, where it's just a sign of the times. Where I know watching some movies, you go back and watch them, and you go, "You can't make that joke today."
Yeah, well, just like the Dribble Cannon, I don't even see how this could be funny back then. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just how my brain works. But it's just like, there's a whole bunch of, like, this is not even a sound plan.
Yeah, it sounds like those sitcoms that you watch, and they're like, "All right, guys, to sneak into the movies, we'll stand on each other in a trench coat. No one will think twice." It's like, people will think twice. This doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still, the trench coat idea still sounds way better than this.
Yeah, I think the part of it, like, the reason why I say I dislike this more than the E-Trade babies is because you can tell someone really tried to build up and write out a joke, and it's just,
There was more effort than Milkaholic.
yeah.
You could tell that one was like, "Oh man, I thought of a great baby pun. Let's get that. Hey, Susan, you had a kid? You want to be in the commercial?" Sure, we'll give you extra vacation time. Um, yeah, no, I'm more upset of the lack of planning and how people. This is not how you treat humans.
It's a good way to put it. It's because like, it's okay to say you're not interested in the same things. It's okay to all gather in spaces and have different groups do different things.
No.
Oh,
Just joking.
oh, okay. That must
No.
be what these people thought. They were like,
I know. Like, oh man, sometimes I just wish, like, look, if I had the TARDIS, I wouldn't fix time crimes. I would just go back and like, hey, well, how did this happen? This is why I would not be the Doctor.
You'd be too busy. Instead of fixing things, you'd just be like, "Why'd you let this become a thing?"
Yeah, it's well. The other question is like, is it because of the Doctor's meddling that time stuff happens? But it's just like, well, okay. But
I have not watched Doctor Who, but I have watched. I forget what it was called. It was like a Cartoon Network show where they would go back in time and try to fix the knot from unraveling.
I know what you're talking
But
about.
then,
Yeah,
if they messed it up, it would unravel more.
yeah. There's a whole thing where, yeah, because there was like they pretty much go back to a time and they're like, we got to stop this person, and they got the wrong person, and it's like some like kid orphan person. They're like, okay, well. Which, looking back at it now, they're real bad, but they're like, no one's gonna miss you, and so they just bring them on their time adventures.
In hindsight.
But yeah, it was like big buff dude, kind of feminine dude, and then
A robot
like,
dude.
yeah, was it? Yeah, robot, and then child, right?
Yeah, the orphan. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was like time something. The only episode I remember is when like buff dude, like they go back to the Big Bang, and they're like, what do we have to stop? And like, I don't know. Nothing's here, and then he slaps a bug, and then bugs. It's like Planet of the Apes, where bugs over the world.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then they're like, "Oh no, we know what we have to fix," and they keep going back to stop themselves.
And they keep making little mistakes.
Yeah. I also one of my favorite jokes from that. It's like the only other thing I remember where it's just like, yeah, If we can't fix the person, we normally just take them out of time until we can like get them back into the right mindset. Right, Gandhi? And he's like, I ain't going back. I got jazz in my soul. And he's just like sitting there like dancing.
Yeah, I think another episode I clearly remember is one about Da Vinci. I don't remember, or Michelangelo. I don't remember what happened, but I think it was the idea he was like, I don't want to make anything anymore. And they're like, oh no, the Renaissance won't happen.
Yeah, it was a good show. It's like looking back at it now where I'm just like, you know what? This is probably like kids are dumb. How can we make them learn history?
Oh,
Oh
100%.
man, this is how.
This is it.
Historia was way better, by the way. The kid that yelled at you.
I don't think I watched that.
It was on the WV17 thing. I remember it. But I also remember a lot of other random things. So anything else you want to talk about these garbage humans?
No, I mean, it was just like the joke was just based on whatever they considered a norm. And I was like, it's not funny.
So serious talk from DPayne right here for a bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, look, guys, take this as you want because DPayne has never been into a relationship in his life. However, if you can't communicate the fact that, like, look, I'm going to go get beer instead of, like, standing here hanging out, like, you might not just end the relationship. Like, just, like, it will just be better for both of y'all to just move on because, like, if you can't communicate about something as simple as, like, look, the guys ran out of beer, I'm going out to go get beer, and that not being an issue, y'all aren't going to be able to handle real issues.
The wavelengths are just not there to be able to connect.
Like, yeah, like, find somebody that you can, like, legit communicate with, and, like, not, as Hop said earlier, not so much be, like, you don't have to do everything together, but you should at least be able to be honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I bet no one's expecting that in the middle of a Super Bowl comedy show, but it's just like, I don't know. This is something that like irks me specifically, where it's just like y'all are having trouble because you won't talk to you. Oh my goodness, this is also in some of the mangas and animes. Okay, anyway,
we've opened the feelings from DPayne, but so let's move on to your least favorite commercial.
My feelings are just more it's different stages of annoyance and rage at idiots. So my number one, which also it's really funny because this also goes along like on paper when I saw this, DPayne should have liked this, but I don't know, like it's no secret, brought up in a religious home, might have had something to do with it. Also, I don't know. Also confirmed, DPayne think different. Every version of the GoDaddy commercials, I like hated.
So what was interesting is, yeah, a lot of the GoDaddies are very like, I'll say like the male gaze forward, where it's intended where they hired certain people to attract attention. But there was one that came up on a controversial list that I listened to where instead it was about a puppy. Did you see that one?
I don't know if I saw the puppy. I know there was one of the models like apparently didn't get I forget her name.
Oh, okay. I have heard that
like,
instance.
Yeah, but like apparently she didn't get paid and like sued him. But no, I don't know the puppy one.
So the puppy one only came up on controversial lists because of people said that it seemed to promote. Remember, I was saying like if you are looking into pets, I prefer people adopt versus like shop. But it seemed as if it was promoting like puppy mills and things like that because it was kind of like, what was it? Like there was a batch of puppies being dragged away in a truck and then it hits a bump in the road and one of the puppies falls out. Puppy runs back to like a barn. And the lady's like, oh, you found your way back home, which is a shame because I just sold you on GoDaddy.com.
Oh, I think I remember that commercial.
Yeah, I was like, poor puppy. Puppy was like, I love you. Take care of me. And she's like, no, you're supposed to be gone because GoDaddy.com made me coin. I'm like, no, that's a living thing.
Yeah, that's not great. But yeah, like Now I'm just thinking of puppy.
Poor puppy. He tried his best.
Because like that, so this morning, me and a few of IRL friends like we're just like, you know what? Let's try to do something in person. And so they're like, let's go on a wike. Let's go on a walk in the woods.
A
And
hike.
yeah, I combine walk and hike. A wike.
A hike. Be careful of those. They might be in the woods.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a Wendigo.
Yeah. Also, a wike sounds like some sort of slur for, I don't know. It sounds like something that shouldn't be said.
I every time you say it, I hear white, like a white. Like, isn't that another term for a ghost in a lot of RPGs? Like, if it's a ghost monster.
I don't know.
Like WIGHT. Am I imagining that? That might be.
Oh no. Okay, so my brain is translating as WIKE.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so we went out and did that, and like we were talking about like pets, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm like, am I just like tired of living alone? Where I'm just like, pet would be nice, but I'm not paying $300 extra a month to have pet. But also, there's like, because I just watch a whole bunch of I just remember a whole bunch of different what was it called? A whole bunch of different times where now I remember what I was talking about. Okay, I remember I watch clips of different streamers on YouTube. They just randomly come up, and there's this one streamer who has this dog. It's like a small white Pomeranian that you can barely see on, and it's not Lily Pichu. It's a different streamer.
It's not Timmy.
Yeah, it's not Timmy, but well, it's in the same group of friends that people know. I don't know actually how to pronounce her name, but it's, oh wow, I don't even remember her real name. But she's in that friend group. Also has a small white dog, small white Pomeranian. But when the neighbors come home and bark at it, or not bark at it, but like
the neighbors bark at the dog.
The neighbors bark at it. Yeah, when the dog hears the roommates, it starts barking, and it has a very high pitched bark, and it sounds like a chicken. And so there's a meme now where like dog barks, people are like, chicken, and she's like, no, it's not a chicken, it's my dog, and gets like super offended. And so everyone's like, chicken dog, bark. To the point where someone else in that friend group didn't know the chicken meme, and the dog barked, and she's like, what was that a chicken? And she's like, why'd you say that? And started hitting her in game, like, and it's like a survival game where it's like, you don't want to attack your friends. But yeah, anyway, so I remember the first GoDaddy commercial, and like I remember my parents' reaction to it, but I also remember my reaction to it, where it's probably in a lot of people's favorite, where it's pretty much like, I don't even remember what they were arguing about, but it's like a model blonde and model brunette just sitting there at dinner, and then it's just, or at lunch, and they're like, something is like, I don't agree, and then it proceeds to them like hitting each other, or not hitting, but it's like rolling around, throwing food at each other, to the part where clothes come off and they're fall into, I think it's actually like wet cement they fall into, but it's like a mud thing, and it's like
uncomfy.
But I'm like, dude, cement's fast drying. Like,
guys are gonna be turned into statues.
And but it comes to the point where like it just turns to where there's a whole bunch of people like, ah, like coming around screaming, and I'm just like, and like in the commercial, I'm like, why, like, if this happened in real life, well, yeah, people would probably record it, but they'd be going to jail, or like the cops would come. Actually, I think the cops do come now I'm thinking about it, but it's just like I remember like my parents were like, change the channel, like my mom was like, change the channel, and I'm like, and like, but I remember like the commercial, I would see it again, and I'm like, I don't see the point, like, which for the longest time before I learned what like domains and stuff was, I honestly thought like GoDaddy was a porn thing.
Yeah, they did a very particular job of how they set up their commercials.
Yeah. So it, and then it was like, because I think I remember like that whole thing, like it like started off its own like little mini storyline thing where it's just like where that like fight like I think it was like the next year like they magically met up again, and she's just like, oh, you, and you're like, oh, and I'm like,
That reminds me
So-
of how Family Guy had the chicken fight with Peter, but it lasted like so long that the fans got tired of it. So then they started making jokes about how the fight takes too long and there's too many fights.
uh, I I only remember jokes of like a couple of Family Guy episodes. That'd be a fun topic to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it was like it turned into like then this is, I forget her name. But yeah, people want to look it up. It turned into girl standing. I don't remember. It was like I can't remember if it was bikini or underwear, but like it was like it was she's standing there and she was writing things all over herself. It's like I don't even remember. I don't even know what the whole commercial was about. But I'm like I don't see the point, and it doesn't build any desire of mine to go to GoDaddy.com, because I remember like at the end it's like see the rest at GoDaddy.com. Like I don't know, I don't even remember if that's the voice that came on, but that's the voice that plays in my head.
That's how you remember it, and that's how it shall be.
Yeah, and I'm like I don't wanna. So yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, and it's just like part of me like I don't know. I think I would have laughed more if it was like, well, no, I'd probably be as equally disturbed if it was the other way around, if it was two dudes. But I would have laughed at it way more because it's just.
It's not supposed to be funny, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I would have laughed way more until they fell into mud or cement, and I'm like, hey, this got weird.
But okay, I did notice the time though, so
Yeah.
should we jump into our favorites?
Well, I don't really have much to say about the runner-up. Like, do we just want to mention runner-up real quick and move on?
I feel like I'd have to. I mean, you can mention yours.
Yeah, mine's real quick. It was this. I think it was this past year. Like, Mr. Peanut died. I don't know if you remember or heard about that.
Is this them trying to?
And then the hashtag. I only have. This is why it's a runner-up and not one of the main ones. The hashtag they made. A real bad hashtag. Baby nut. No. Okay. No. Baby nut does not translate well to the internet. That's all I have to say. That is why it's in the bad runner-up list.
Okay, I was gonna say I immediately thought of like Mean Girls, like when they say like you can't make fetch happen, but I don't want to say the hashtag.
Oh no, I'm just gonna say I don't care. You guys did a bad.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
That's a fair enough reason to make it like that. All right, so then I'll go ahead and mention my second favorite one in my favorites of the Super Bowl commercials. The Doritos as a series.
Oh, that's why I have this one here too.
In the same exact spot?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, because like I forgot how many of them are actually really funny. One of them that popped up was the one they're like, it's like two dudes at the gym eating Doritos. And then they're like, where'd you get that bag of Doritos? He's like, oh, I stole it from Tim's locker. And the guy who asked was like, oh no, we gotta get out of here. And the guy eating the Doritos is like, why? What's the big deal? It's just him. And they pan the screen over, and it's a dude in full body Dorito armor. And right before that, he throws a Dorito into one of the guys' necks, and he passes out. And then you see the guy in full Dorito armor swinging a nunchuck made out of Doritos, screaming. Cut commercial.
I like. Well, that is a good one. I also like the one where it's like the guy eating Doritos like at his girlfriend's house, and it's just like, and he's like, there's the dog, like it's like a Chihuahua
pug.
dog. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, you want a Dorito? And he's just like, babe, stop teasing the dog. And he's like, I'm not. And then it's just like, he's like, oh, and he's just like, and it makes me laugh because like I kind of do the same things to dogs as well, because I'm like, I paid for the food, I ain't giving it to you. But it's just like it was going to the point where it's just like it's too far, and it's just like oh, and just like yeah, it's like, dumb dog, and then the dog just kicks down the door and just like cut to Dorito thing, and then it cuts back to like the dog eating Doritos out of the bag.
Yeah, I remember that one. Another one I remember, I don't remember if this one aired on TV or if I found it on YouTube. It was I think a guy was trying to get mice out of his walls or something like that. So he lays down Doritos and he's like making noises for a mouse to come out, and then a full grown man in a mouse outfit kicks open the wall and then takes the bag of Doritos and walks away.
I think I remember that. I think there was also another one because, like, I remember they started their own fake war between which was better, regular or Cool Ranch.
Okay.
And there was one in it was a vending machine with just all regular and all Cool Ranch, and then the guy people were like, "Oh man, this is great," and then the person didn't have money for it. And he's just like shaking the whole vending machine and it wouldn't come out. I might be mixing up with another commercial, but it's just like I just remember the end of it. The guy just runs and like drop kicks the glass of the vending machine, and he's like, "Yay!" And then like he's walking away, and there's like these like people. He's like, "Who broke the vending machine?" He's like, "Oh," as he has like Doritos in his hand.
Yeah, like they're short and sweet, and a lot of them I think are just that perfect length that you need for a sketch.
Yeah, 15-20 seconds.
Yeah, that's all they needed, and like I'm sure it saved them a lot of money. Like they could afford the prime time and just put in a very small slot, and then like I would remember those more than most other commercials.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they also had the Peter Dinklage. Like it wasn't funny, but it was more like Peter Dinklage and Morgan Freeman doing the rap, and it was more like it was like the surprise factor was like, oh, like I don't even know what they're talking about, but it's just funny seeing and like it wasn't like a full out like full throated laugh, but it was like it got a chuckle and it was like, no, that's impressive. Like
Yeah, they
full,
did.
like music video. They're very creative in their commercials.
Yeah, they do enough for you to be like, oh right, that's the Doritos commercial, and that I think that should be the goal for most commercials.
Yes, I did have one that was tied with this because it made me laugh because I remembered it later. Like I remembered like as I was watching the commercial, I was like, oh yeah, this was a good one. So I'll just say what it like. So Snickers, they have the commercials where it's just like grumpy celebrity is replacing a person. They eat Snickers and they become regular person again. Common thing, except this one was football and it was Betty White playing football.
This is my favorite commercial.
Oh, it is. Well, do we want to talk about it now?
Yeah, we can just get it out of the way now. Yes. One, I love Betty White. I grew up watching Golden Girls. Two, I think the impact is the funniest part because you're like, oh, old lady.
You're like, she's just like, what the heck, Jim?
And they're like, you're playing like Betty White out there. They're like, no, I'm not. And you're like, wait, but you are Betty White. And then you find out you're not you and you're hungry.
Yeah. And then he's like, and then just like, oh, because like, and then there's like the line where it's something. There's like, I can't remember the exact line because I just watched it and I know they say something. He's like, man, he's only playing this because his girlfriend's watching like that. And she's like, babe, I'm like, what? Here. He's the Snickers like, oh, thanks.
And it's a dude. Yeah, like it's just a normal dude. And you're like, oh, that's not Betty White anymore.
Yeah. I think there's another version of commercial where it's like, it's the guy, he's like mafia man. I forget his name. He's an old man now, but it's like the same thing where he's just like,
oh,
like,
De Niro?
Yeah, De Niro. And he's just like full like, Barr! And he's like, dude, eat a Snickers. And it's like some college girl just like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, was the Betty White one the first one and then it spawned a bunch?
I think so, yeah. But there's also the fun thing at the end of that commercial where the guy's like, yeah, I'm good again. They like show their little logo, Snickers, yeah, break the candy bar. And they're like, yeah, and he's like, oh, it's that hike. And then it's just like it follows the person who was Betty White. He's like, I'm open. And then it just like camera like quick snaps to the QB getting tackled, and he's the old man. He's like, oh no, just like in the mud, like, oh, that hurts.
That's a good commercial. All right, so that got my top two out of the way immediately. What's your number one?
Yeah, I always have a feeling we always say, well, I just saw the time, and then it's like, yeah, but the whatever we're about to say just goes through quick, super fast. This one spawned, just like the Betty White Snickers, spawned a lot of ones. And I'm pretty sure if I say it, like, kind of the first line, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, ladies, look at your man. Look at me.
Oh, Old Spice?
Old Spice, yeah. Because I didn't realize this was a a Super Bowl
I
commercial.
feel like I watched most of them not during the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, same, because I would watch a lot of them on YouTube later. But yeah, that was apparently was a Super Bowl commercial, and it was they did that, and but like from there, I think that's when we got like, because that started going into more and more and more of like just like what I think it was like the what your man could smell like campaign. And it was like, yes, okay, and then but then from there, I think that laid down the track to have the Terry Crews Old Spice commercials.
Yeah, where they took it to like a different extreme. Like the first
Yeah.
guy was very smooth, like, do you want your man to smell like smooth jazz music? And then a really cool transition, or like a walk on the beach. And then
Mm-hmm.
Terry Crews is sitting there screaming.
Because I think, yeah, because I think the Terry Crews commercials were also Super Bowl commercials. The Terry Crews ones would have definitely been my number one spot, but it's just like you gotta admire history, and also I couldn't find it anywhere. But I remember, because I think actually now I'm sitting here talking about it, I think I do remember the Terry Crews one, because it starts off with like a Tide commercial, and it's just like, man, Tide's great, and it's just like, I do this, and then you just hear, ah!
And he like kicks through. Yeah.
Well, he comes in on like a snowmobile, and he's like, power! And just is like yelling. He's like, Old Spice so strong it breaks into other commercials. Wah! And just like does that weird like chest flex, like,
Yeah, where he moves each one.
yeah, and it's just like blah, and like explosion. Oh man, those commercials are great. Terry Crews is also great.
He's got great energy. You cannot deny him that. If he's in there, you're noticing him.
Yeah, I also, like, just from what I've learned of him as a human, like, he's just like not one of those crazy people, and is like, oh man, you not too fun to look in real life. I'm like, no, I actually really respect like what like your journey through life.
Mm-hmm.
So he a good boy, man. He good ball of muscle.
Yeah, this is a nice change of pace, because I haven't looked at celebrity gossip in about a week to keep my mind pure and not look back into the celebrity news I had shared the last two podcasts. So let us just appreciate the good human
But
that
I
Terry Crews
need
is.
closure.
You
I
can,
am not willing to look it up myself, mainly because I forget about it until we start recording the podcast.
no, we shall enjoy that there are still celebrities that are good people that try their best and work through hardships in a healthy way. Let us respect
Yes.
that.
And not by eating others. Non-consensual eating.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say non. I think he tried to.
Oh, I don't want to know anymore.
No. From what I understood, like it was one of those, like, he would bring it up and people would be like, ha ha ha, but then like he brought it up.
Yeah.
It's not like they were asleep and he cut a fork and knife and was like, oh, you're sleeping now. Let me just get myself
Just
over
like,
him.
oh, yep. it is very much the equivalent of shoot your shot.
Yes, it was the shoot your shot, and people going, oh, he probably doesn't mean it, right? From what I understand, it could all be fabricated. That's the difficult part when it comes to gossip, because it travels fast.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. But yeah, it's weird. It's celebrities are weird.
But thank you everyone who's listened this far. When we actually made it through our commercials, we took a lot of side trips.
Hold on, one more side trip real quick. Do you know they have a DiGiorno croissant pizza crust?
I don't like it.
I want to try it.
You're the brave pizza man. I am.
You know what?
not.
If you were VTuber bunny girl, I would be pizza. I'd be like Pizza the Hut.
You'd,
from
you'd be a
Spaceballs.
pizza. I have not watched Spaceballs, but all I did was imagine Jabba the Hutt covered in pepperoni and cheese.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Gross. Greasy.
Do you like Star Wars? I don't know where you sit on Star Wars.
Star Wars, I feel like this is where it's going to get spicy now. Star Wars for me was, I think, sold to me wrong. I told people I like sci-fi, and they said I have to watch Star Wars if I'm a sci-fi fan.
Eh.
And then I watched Star Wars, and I said, this isn't sci-fi. And they're like, what do you mean? They're in space. Like, no, this is fantasy.
Yeah. Oh my god. You literally say what I say every time.
Yeah, this is a space fantasy or a space opera, I think is what some people call it, where it's and people
No,
are like,
it's
why is it not sci-fi? I'm like, because did they tell me about the technology in the ships? Did they explore anything new? No, they just teleported to places, made loud noises, and had lasers.
all it's missing is a dragon. Space dragon, which I guess the space dragon is the Death Cube. No, that's
Oh!
Star Trek. What's it? The big ball
Star.
with lasers. Star. Death Star. Cubes from the other one that I like.
Yeah, so, but overall, like, watching through, I don't know, I didn't watch it when I was younger, so I can tell where it's got the 80s vibes, and I don't always connect with it very well, so it's...
Yeah.
It feels
but so...
Yeah, it's just disjointed for me. It's not for me.
Well,
The fan base also scares me.
Yeah. The Spaceballs makes fun a lot of Star Wars, but it also... It's a lot of making fun of... there's a lot of parody from Star Wars, so if you watched it and have a basic understanding, you'll get a lot of the jokes for Spaceballs, because I think Spaceballs is worth taking a look at.
Okay, yeah,
It is pretty funny.
I think I did completely watch A New Hope, which is I think Star Wars 4, right? Because there's the whole prequels.
Yeah?
So the fourth one, I think I fell asleep for a little bit, but I like overall, I definitely fell asleep during 5.
Yeah, which the funny is because like a lot of people say 5 is like a lot of their favorites, but it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big Star Wars fan. A lot of my friends who are Star Wars fans told me I'm not allowed to watch the movies with them anymore.
Oh, so yeah, I've watched 4, I've watched 5, and then I watched whichever was the first one that had in the newer trilogy.
With Rey.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the first one in that trilogy.
Rey.
I know a lot of people tell me that I probably would like Rogue One because it's not a quote unquote Star Wars movie.
It's okay. Like it's an okay standalone movie, but there's still a lot of plot holes where I'm just like, I liked it because there's certain things that they got away from because they had to, but it's still not a great movie.
Yeah, and then I know it seems like a lot of people like the TV series that spin off much more. Like Clone Wars. I have a lot of people that are big fans of that. And then Mandalorian is, of course, the recent popular one.
I never watched it. But honestly, from what I heard, and probably just understanding like kind of how both our tastes are somewhat adjacent, the video games might be a little bit more interesting.
Oh, I've been told to play Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I never played it, but from what I heard about it, it doesn't really touch anything about the movies, and like it's like a whole like thousands of years beforehand.
It's also a BioWare game before Mass Effect came out. And
there's a lot of relationship stuff in it as well, so there's that.
I know. What is it? People also liked the newer RPG, right? That was made by Respawn.
Oh yeah, I'm forgetting the name, but you are a Jedi man with things. I forgot the name. You have a little robot friend.
Yeah, I think I also heard that's the only game that's been considered canon in the universe, which also confuses me about Star Wars. But that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, when Disney took it over, they kicked everything out pretty much. But but the one thing I do think is interesting that is kind of perking my interest to try Knights of the Old Republic is that there's this huge Jedi war that happens, and like in the movies, it seems like Jedi is the most important thing, but like it fleshes out that world where they're just like, yeah, no, we don't care. Like they talk to regular people and it's like, we didn't care what side you were on. You're just space magicians destroying the world because you don't agree with each other, and we hate you both. And they're like, wait, what? So I don't know. It's like that side of it, and
it's a nice step away from it being just a bias towards the heroes.
Yeah, like Star Wars would be a lot better if they got rid of all the Skywalkers. They're the ones that ruined that series, and I don't really care if people disagree.
Is this where we end the episode so people can yell at us on twitter.com/pointlessdisco?
Look, to be fair, if they made it this far, they get a high five anyway. Like through the first 30 minutes of rambling.
Impressive.
Oh man, one of us needs to actually be on a normal human sleep schedule to keep us in track. That's how we'll judge the episodes. Is it 2 hours? Oh, Hop didn't sleep to really be pain.
We're not at the 2-hour mark yet, but I don't think I have anything else to add on it.
Oh, okay. It's also we're recording it later, and now DPayne hungry. But
We're always hungry.
I know. I posted this week on Twitter where it's just like I've noticed a very bad habit. Whenever I'm on Zoom, I eat. And when I'm not eating, I'm thinking about eating because I realize I don't eat during the podcast.
Oh boy. Well, I was just going to say that I don't think I have anything else to add to Super Bowl commercials. Do you?
They all suck.
Except the ones we like.
Except for the ones that are not suck.
Perfect take.
Mm-hmm. If you made it that far, go ahead. Share that on the social medias. No. Yeah, there's some good ones. But hey, any person that is thinking of making a Super Bowl commercial, don't make the baby nut hashtag. Just don't.
Just stop. Think twice. Don't
launch gerbils out of a cannon. Don't. Just don't. If you're like, man, this sounds like no. Just stick with the thing with Betty White's and like
yelling. Short and snappy sketches.
Short, snappy, like anyone with muscle mass. I don't even care what gender they are because it's like, man, muscles are cool. Yep. So, speaking about things, it was already hinted at. We're doing something next. I almost said year.
Smooth.
Next week. That is also a sign of the times. Guess what, guys? This is your reminder. Fun thing. Oh, I just got a Dorito thing on my... Oh, that's Fritos. They're owned by the same person. It's a cat that has a Frito bag on its tail, and it's like, what the dump? And just a spinning... I'll just share it with you.
Okay.
Copy link.
Oh, I didn't think you were sharing it immediately while you're in the middle of your thought.
No, this is where we're at now. So... I'm gonna like it. There we go. Anyway. Sponsor us. But yeah, so next week, if you guys didn't know, hey, here's your reminder. It's Valentine's Day, so if that's something that would get you in trouble, get on it. Seriously, the radio station has been like, I think I heard it multiple times, like, guys, this Sunday is, or like in 2 weeks is Valentine's Day, and I was like, well, this is a good video. I'm like rewatching this video now with the cat. Where it's like, man, people just lost all concept of time. But anywho, yeah, for Valentine's Day, we're like, man, it'd be funny. Let's do something that has to do with like the romance stuff or somewhat adjacent. And I realized there's been multiple times I had conversations with Hop where it's like, this would be funny because we know how DPayne does romance. He doesn't.
I was gonna say does not.
Yeah. So yeah, we are gonna talk about our top and not top relationships in animes and mangas, and just comics. Like we're just yeah.
Couples.
Just that.
Couples. Couple of couples.
Yeah. So who knows? We might see way more into DPayne's psyche than we ever wished. Maybe we won't. But hey, we all know how everyone likes Hop's takes on romance. So guess what? We'll be doing a lot. I don't know. It might be in like DPayne. How'd you get there? But yeah, no, it should be a fun time. So yeah, if you want to hear, it'll be the most romantic episode until we get to the other one that people like.
Smooth. We don't know. We don't know exactly when the other one will be. We have a general plan.
Yes, I think that has been the most planned episode, or at least the most talked about episode between the two of us of what that should look like. So don't worry. The nice episode will hopefully be nice. Yep. So, yeah, that'll be it. If you made it this far, thanks. Definitely give us a follow on Twitter at Pointless Disco. And talk with us there. We will soon have. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot because we've been talking about food and everything else. We can do that right before we close, where we roll for Super Bowl.
I feel like that should be now.
Yeah, let's do it now because I forgot. Okay, so this guys, we were gonna find out who won the Super Bowl. Oh, let me do one quick count there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh shoot. They both have even number of letters in their name. Okay, not in total. Okay, so Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, has an odd number, and Kansas City Chiefs has an even number. So I figured we both can roll a die, and if we roll an odd, that means Tampa Bay will win the Super Bowl. If we roll an even, the Chiefs will.
Are we adding our numbers together?
And that will be the score.
Oh, our two dice will be the scores.
Maybe.
We know football so well. All right, I'm rolling my d20.
Yeah, me too. Well, I got an even.
I also got an even.
Oh, what's your even?
18.
I got a 2, which is a natural 20, so it's confirmed.
Who is even?
I forgot. The Chiefs.
Okay, so you're saying our dice have determined the Chiefs will win.
Yep. Chiefs are going to win.
With 20 points?
with 20 points or by a 20-point lead.
I don't know. I feel like football is one of those where you don't usually end up with even numbers.
All I know is, hey Twitter, this is probably going to be the one with the text on.
Hey Twitter.
Hi.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. Hope that if you are big on the Super Bowl, that there are good commercials this year and the team you like does good.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they're big on the Super Bowl, I don't think they're really paying attention to the commercials. The commercials is just to bring the nerds in like us. But yeah, hope that the whole game does well. If you feel led to give us a review, helps us grow and it's free. Or hey, if you don't want to do that, just tell a friend or your enemy. We'll take them. We won't let them know if they listen. Like, we won't tell you if your enemy listens. I'm looking at our logo now. The T is very big. But that's more just the font.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, I'm hungry, so bye.